We're just calling you out on your stupidity. America's woke network is too right-leaning. They want to be a victim. Oh, man, ESPN gave in. He's shown that people will pay attention to him. Stephen A. Smith has shown that he can raise capital. They know race baiting stupid when they see it. They talked about how much I love doing this show because you get to see morons on a daily basis act like morons and call them out. I want to say that very clearly. And two of the biggest, Jemele Hill and a guy you've never heard of, Corone Phillips, except you did. I'll explain. They started talking. And then one of the other reasons I love this show is because we get to talk to great guests. Trey Wallace is going to join, but the legend Herm Edwards is going to join us as well. And we're going to talk about why the Indianapolis Colts are the greatest team in the history of football. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. That's why I love this show. You love this show because, well, you get to sit there and look at me for 2 hours, hour 45. How much fun is that? And you get informed and you get unbiased and you get real and you get away from all the nonsense. Don't At Me starts right now. You know, I look kind of like big and strong today. This show is presented to you by Picks. No, boy. You know, you thought you could get away. This is not a joke. This is not a joke. It seems like a joke. This is not a joke. Failed ESPN host, woke gas bag, and really smart woman, but, you know, she's morphed into that everything is racist and I'm a victim, Jemele Hill. She actually fired up her ex account. Now, the question is, what happened to all these people? We're leaving the country. I want everybody to leave the country. I just want it to be me and this golf course out here so I can just play golf, bet against myself, and have a little fun. They're all supposed to leave. Springsteen, get out of here. Rosie, send your ass wherever it is. Good for you, you crazy-ass Ellen. You took off. More. Go, 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 go. Jemele, honest to God, people, women have no rights. Go, leave, leave. Isn't that what they all said? African Americans and women will have no rights. We're leaving. Yeah, bullshit. Anyway, we're just calling you out on your stupidity, both groups. Anyway, Jemele Hill fired up her ex account and posted, hold on here, that ESPN, America's woke network, is too right-leaning. Too right-leaning. Now, believe me, I worked there post-George Floyd. It ain't very right-leaning. If right means incredibly scared, if right means white dudes incredibly scared to get called racist by unqualified minorities, that's right. Then she's right. But that ain't it. We all know what right-leaning means. Right-leaning means you tend to be conservative. You tend to be Republican. That's the last thing. Look, we all know this. We all know all these athletes out there, all these businessmen, all these folks in the building 4 at ESPN voted for Trump. I mean, anybody with half a brain voted for Trump. You had to, because the other side was giving you idiots. Trump was giving you hope that the stupidity of woke would be squelched. No more gay trannies or whatever you call them naked on the White House lawn. So every dude with a brain, black, white, every woman with a brain, black, white, Asian, whatever, absolutely voted for Trump. Absolutely in their private life. But in their public life, oh, man, they couldn't do it. Oh, man, are you kidding me? They had to act like they gave a rat's ass about the idiots running the asylum. They had to act, hey, man, white dude, you gone. Let me get somebody in here of color. And then you end up, well, having to keep Ryan Clark. But anyway, too right-leaning. And it shows a conservative bias by allowing Stephen A. Smith to discuss politics. No, Stephen A. Smith has shown that he can raise capital. He has. He's shown that people will pay attention to him. When Jemele Hill and Michael Smith tried to do their little stupidity, they tried to do it like Jasmine Crockett revival at an African-American church. They pandered. Stephen A. Smith isn't really pandering. And us, as normal human beings, black and white, we see that. We understand the difference between Jasmine Crockett, you know who that idiot is, acting like a sister, and Jasmine Crockett acting like who she is, a rich, entitled black girl that's closer to, well, being rich than any kind of sisterhood. We see bullshit is what I'm trying to say. And Jemele Hill and Michael Smith, when they did their little six, gave us bullshit. Smith gives us intelligent discussion. But that, of course, isn't what Jemele Hill and her ilk like. They want to be a victim. Oh, man, ESPN gave in. Now they're right-leaning. They wouldn't let me do that. No, you were fake. You were full of shit. And frankly, you didn't have it. Jemele Hill, you didn't have it. You didn't have the gravitas where people wanted to listen. You just didn't. Whatever it is, Michael Smith certainly didn't have it. You absolutely didn't have it. To make this whole thing even funnier, Hill was responding to a story from Karan J. Phillips. Remember that idiot? Now, Karan J. Phillips is the worst journalist among us. He was fired from Deadspin. You can't get fired from Deadspin. I don't even know if Deadspin exists as a black dude. Hell, you can't get fired from anything in the media as a black dude. See Ryan Clark. That's the idiot that got fired and sued for defaming an innocent little kid who dressed up in red and blackface and Indian headgear to support the Kansas City Chiefs. So here's what the dumbest dude, and he is the dumb. I don't give a. Karan J. Phillips is the dumbest freaking guy out there. Let's hear, or here's a screenshot of Karan J. Phillips. Now you got to remember, a very popular African American told Coach Knight and I, look, you got to understand something about the African American community. We don't want others to succeed. Here's an example. Stephen A. Smith and the chronically irresponsibility in political commentary. ESPN's new favorite loudmouth has a new radio show that will focus on politics despite his superficial understanding of the subject. Now, you got to understand, Karan J. Phillips, he took 30 days to a more powerful vocabulary. So he's using vocabulary, but he's really stupid. Like, he's really a race-baiting clown. He's the worst journalist among us. There is nobody worse. I mean, demeaning a little kid. Remember he showed only one side of the kid's face and it was black? Didn't show the other side where it was red. I love when this idiot speaks. It's fun. It's like your preacher man, who's saying a bunch of stuff that he goes out and he stoops, somebody's wife. That's what this guy is. It's glorious. No, it really is good. Here's Jemele Hill's response. I do wonder. Jemele Hill's going to her beard. She got one. I do wonder. Really? You do wonder? Really? If ESPN in this climate would sanction a major personality digging his heart into the left and Stephen A. Smith is digging into the right, I don't know, man. I kind of think Stephen A. Smith just kind of talks in the center, which makes, really, really dumb people like Jemele Hill mad. Because you can't have a brother, a powerful brother, not supporting your stupidity. It lessens you. And when I say digging in, I mean, could they appear on MSNBC whenever they wanted? Of course. These idiots at ESPN have been breaking into broadcast to spew left stupidity. The Don't Say Gay bill. Remember L. Duncan's little act of stupidity? These idiots, including Jemele Hill when she worked there, have been going left the entire time despite warnings. The lead DEI hire, no, there's two. The bride and groom of DEI hires, Ryan Clark and Mina Kimes. Hell, Ryan Clark was not a DEI hire, but Ryan Clark became one when they kept him for all the stupid stuff. Mina Kimes, absolutely a DEI hire, and she proves it every day. But they both are still there despite violating rules that got many white people fired. I mean, Mina Kimes endorsed the dumbest politician in this country, and that's hard, Karen Bass. So stop Stop with the would they be allowed on MSNBC. Could they appear on Don Lemon's platform to discuss issues or at Midas Touch? If they're black, they can. What's wrong with you? Seth Greenberg can't. Fran Fraschilla can't. Jay Bellis can't. But if they're black, they appear on anything they want. Talk about anything they want. What's wrong with you? Everybody knows that. Everybody knows the Burke Magnus of the world, the Mike McQuaddy of the world are so scared of skin color. It keeps them up at night. What's wrong? You know that. Don't try to bullshit us. I worked there. I know people still there. They called me. Oh, actually, they texted me and laughed at this comment. Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? She conveniently leaves out Smith's foray into politics began after he expressed interest in running as a Democrat in 2028. Apparently, she thinks ESPN is so right-wing that it supports his possible interest in helping the Democratic Party beat the GOP in 4 years. Smith has admitted on his podcast that he would like to go on CNN and MSNBC more, but they don't invite him any more than a few times a year. Furthermore, ESPN used to permit Bomani Jones to guest on Joy Reid's MSNBC show. That's just, that's a good one. White people duck. Before the network fired him for failing on TV, radio, and podcasting. Bomani Jones is a sad tale. He is. I kind of thought he was good. And then you listen to him, and then he became all victim. And he didn't have the background. ESPN tried with Bomani Jones, just like they tried with Jemele Hill and Michael Smith, but they just don't have it. Like me, I got it. I don't know. I've always had. Hottest girls always paid attention to me. I walk in the room kind of looks around. I mean, I get it. That's what we do. Hill doesn't have it. She kind of walks in and she's kind of frumpy and stupid and loud, and you go, oh. Of course, Hill wasn't actually seeking a truthful answer. She was gaslighting. Well, of course. She knows how far left-leaning ESPN. She worked there. Her friends are there. Her pal L. Duncan praised Michelle Obama on ESPN television last month. However, Hill's entire brand now rests on her convincing the most racially grieved and uninformed users on the internet that society is rigged against liberals and black people. That's the great Bobby Barack. All you do is laugh at it. I mean, I'd make fun of it. I do. I make fun of it, and my African-American friends love it. They do, because they know race baiting's stupid when they see it. They do. We have a thing that we send each other. It's from The Wire. That senator. Anytime Jemele Hill or one of these idiots spews garbage, I send it to my boys, and I go, and they send it back, I mean, they know. Keep going, Jemele, though. And get Karan J. Phillips in. Yeah, that genius. Two geniuses. They just don't have any juice. Jemele Hill can go on. He's just frumpy. Karan Hill's just weaselly. Stephen A. Smith goes on. You kind of pay attention. I'm giving into that. Hey, look at me. Right now. Look at me. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Yeah. We did pretty good on Prize Picks over the weekend. You and I make decisions every day. Of course we do. I mean, I make decisions on what to wear. But on Prize Picks, being right gets you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks, simple to play. Pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, cash in, win up to 2,000 times your money. Prize Picks the best way to win real money this football season. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds if you'd like, and turn your sports opinions into real money on Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code DAKICH. You get 50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's $50 in lineups after you play your first $5. That's code DAKICH. You get 50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, pick your game. And I have a max discount I want to bring to your attention. This is coming Sunday. 9/14, second week of the NFL season. Travis Kelce, more than 0.5 receiving yards. That's right. If Kelce gets at least 1 yard, you win. Oh, man. What do I always say? I say a lot. It's always the same people. Ever since, I say it all the time, going back late 70s, early 80s, a reliever for the Dodgers, a really good one named Steve Howe, got suspended 7, 8, 9 times, whatever it was, for drug use. Even as a 15 to 18-year-old kid, I'm sitting there going, man, it's always the same dudes. And I've paid attention to that my entire adult life. Dan, what are you talking about? I'll tell you what I'm talking about. It's the same dudes. This time, Tyreek Hill. Every single game Tyreek Hill plays, we've got to pay attention to the stupidity on the sideline. But that's not this. Tyreek Hill, the Miami Dolphins, whatever he is, wide receiver, who are, by the way, a dumpster fire. Well, they got a big problem on their hands with the latest allegations being brought forth against Tyreek Hill from his ex-wife, Kita Vaccaro. She sounds hot. Sounds like a pain in the ass, but Kita Vaccaro, just the name, sounds hot. I don't care. Sounds hot. Claiming Hill violently attacked her on 8 separate occasions over the course of their 17-month marriage. I'm going to say that again. Kita Vaccaro, in 17 months, says she got attacked 8 times. I be honest with you, I don't believe anybody. I don't believe the victim. I don't believe Hill when he says she's trying to extort money. Let's see where the evidence takes us. That was taught to me by my sister, the prosecutor. The first reportedly unfolded at their Southwest Ranches, Florida guest house during a dispute over a prenup. Man. Kita Vaccaro's accusations against Tyreek Hill. Here they are. Hill shoved her to the floor, stood over her, and ripped off her necklace, leaving her a cut and bruise on her neck. 2 weeks later, Vaccaro says, Hill allegedly threw her down, pulled clumps of her hair, and grabbed her aggressively. February 7, 2024, Hill allegedly shoves a marijuana cigarette in her face and kicks her out of the house. Man, I don't know what's true or not. You don't know what's true or not. We'll let the evidence decide, but this ain't good. Carl's mother reported seeing Hill throw a computer and grab their infant daughter during an argument. No arrest. She filed for divorce the next day. There you go. It is always the same people. Like, you literally can close your eyes, somebody tells you this, and you would say, well, it's either this guy, or this guy. It's just the way it is. I don't care if that makes you mad. I don't care. Pay attention to it. I've been paying attention to this since frickin' Steve Howe. And if you're going to look up Steve Howe, it's Howe. And I'm telling you, he was in the news. It seemed like every month, but it was like twice a year. But it made me as a guy, and it's always the same people. I don't care who it is. It's always the same idiots. See, talent corrupts. And people will tell you that Cheetah, Tyreek Hill, is an uber-talented guy. Yeah, maybe, but he's an idiot. Oh, maybe he didn't do it. Maybe not. Still an idiot. I mean, if you paid attention, he's an idiot. Anyway, enjoying the show? I hope you are. I do. I hope you are. I smile. We rip people. I got accused yesterday of only ripping black guys. Boy, that's not true. I'm an equal opportunity ripper. I'll rip black women. I'll rip Asian women. I'll rip white dudes. What's wrong with you? Anyway, I know you are. Make sure you go to our YouTube page. It's simply at youtube.com/@don't@me with Dan Dakich. Like, comment, subscribe. You'll never miss any of our fantastic content. All right. America's new granddad, or whatever he is, and craziest fighter, Mike Tyson. If you don't like him, you can call him America's least favorite rapist. We forget about that. Between him and Kobe, all of a sudden being like great dudes, right? Kobe's dead, but he's a girl dad. He's a rapist. Mike Tyson is alive, and, hey, he's a rapist. I mean, what are you going to do? Ask that Kerry Washington's dad or mom. What do you think about Mike Tyson? You'll get the truth. Anyway, Tyson has reappeared. He made headlines for his, quote, boxing match against Jake Paul last fall. Now, Tyson is continuing his advocacy for legalized marijuana. Here's a good rule of thumb. I'm not saying marijuana should be legalized. It clearly shouldn't. Studies have shown it just makes you an idiot, but okay. But if Mike Tyson supports it, and if Mike Tyson is an advocate for it, go the other way. No, I mean, you don't even have to think about it. Just go the other way. Mike Tyson likes bald guys. I'd grow hair. You know what? I'd get the old toilet ring around the head. Mike Tyson loves Indiana University. That thing over my head. That way. That thing over my head would be gone tomorrow. If Mike Tyson's dumbass advocates for it, do the opposite. Now, I mean, isn't that pretty good? Tyson is considering his advocacy. He's continuing his advocacy for legalized marijuana, but now he is warning sports leagues that they're going to lose out on great talent due to strict rules on Mary Jane. Okay there, Mike Tyson. There are people that are willing to give up multi-million-dollar careers for this flower. Like who? I mean, there are stupid guys that don't understand that masking it doesn't work like they're being told. But name me somebody other than Ricky Williams that was willing to lose money over marijuana. I'll hang up and wait. You have to tell these big owners that you're going to either lose your guys over some flower and really lose money. Yeah, right. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Mike. Yeah. Let's continue to listen to this dumbass. I was going to say the F word there, but I didn't want to, Mom. I would say that little flower could prevent me from losing so much money and so much great play because people are dropping out. Who? People want to smoke. Really? That relaxes them. Okay. That makes them have tunnel vision. They could play better when they smoke their marijuana. It's just the truth. I wish I had smoked when I was fighting. Yeah, okay. Yeah, good. Yeah. I mean, 8th grade education coming to the forefront. Yeah. I mean, look, you can mask the stupidity of this idiot. You can. You can put him in a movie, give him a script, let him pet a tiger, and be like, man, he's funny. But he's an idiot. I mean, let's be honest. If we're going to be a serious society, Mike Tyson needs to be like a museum. Something to look at, stay away from, stay behind the ropes, but don't ever listen. He also said he was doing fentanyl when he was boxing. This genius. The 59-year-old has become a successful business owner in the marijuana industry and recently named CEO of a Las Vegas-based company behind cannabis brands. Tyson isn't just pro-marijuana for recreational use, though. He believes the benefits could translate into more success for athletes in their respective sports. He made the admission during a wide-range interview with Katie Miller, the communications director for former Vice President Mike Pence in the Trump administration. That's great. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I mean, that's good. That was the idiot portion of our program, listening to Mike Tyson. You know, anybody can be named CEO of anything. Actually, I am CEO of Dakich Enterprises. We have a wide range of interests. Mike effing Tyson. Man, what do they say? What do they say in Sandlot? Like, legends, I don't know, stars live, but legends never die. Mike Tyson never dies. And the more he talks, the dumber he is. All right, the NBA Europe. Do you want to watch the NBA Europe? I don't know. Former NBA star and French phenom and serial cheater on his wife, Tony Parker. Tony Parker, he speaks the French, and the women, they love him. Brett Barry's a wife. I have to have the sex as I'm married to the girl from the Desperate Housewives. I have the sex with your wife. I am a pig, Tony Parker. Yes, that's me. Yes, but I have a sexy accent, and the little girls, they like me, and I have no morals. Tony Parker, F off. He thinks it's only a matter of time. According to a report by Tom Friend in Sports Business Journal, Parker characterized the league as a near certainty, speaking in somewhere China. All these guys go to China. Man, yesterday we talked about LeBron James in China. Tony Parker's in China. Let me guess, Tony. Come back to the United States and tell us how oppressed you are as, a French African-American. I can go to China and feel free. I come to the Americas and, I am oppressed. The free speech, like LeBron says, is bad. It's negative. I go to China where, if I go in the wrong place, I become enslaved. It is good. These idiots. Hey, let me tell you something. We say this about Bob Knight, the famed basketball coach. These idiots like Knight, they would have endorsed a grapefruit, and they hadn't eaten a grapefruit in their whole life. China. I'm going to speak in China. Okay. NBA Europe League, for me, is a matter of time. They're coming. They're coming, and it is going to happen. I think it's a great idea. I like to have the sex with all the new players, their wives. If the Euro League and NBA and FIBA can find a way to work together to build a strong league, that will be amazing for European basketball. Tony, man, a lot more women at games. A lot more married women at games. I'm surprised we haven't heard Tony Parker linking up with Vanessa Bryant. I don't know. I saw something on Vanessa Bryant the other day, and she seems like a wonderful woman. That's the perfect one for Tony Parker. No, seriously. It is. No, it's fascinating. I have this sex with the married women. It is my thing, even though I am the married one. I just, I drink coffee and espresso. I can't get over it. I kind of like the accent. Hey, Nick, you like the accent? Nick, I think the accent's not bad. I mean, for a big, fat Serbian. Per Tom Friend, NBA commish, Adam Silver, the Skeleton, the worst commissioner in professional sports, traveled to London and France over the summer to engage with potential stakeholders and media entities about the new league. Yeah, I can see it happening. But I'm telling you, Europe, don't do it. I mean, come on. Why would you want to involve yourself with this American league? No, you got great stuff over there. The league would likely be between 14, 16 teams comprised of existing European clubs, established soccer clubs launching basketball teams, and brand new clubs built from scratch. Expansion fees would be between $500 million and $1 billion, some of which would be kicked back into the pockets of the 30 current NBA owners. Well, there's your reason. Them big fat white dudes, man, they get money from Europe. All right, per the Sports Business Journal, that setup is seen favorably compared to domestic expansion of 32 teams, as the current owners wouldn't have to split media revenues between two additional clubs. They don't want to do that. Europe, you just get the money pouring in. It's like the mob. You sit at the back table in the back room of Fat Jimmy's restaurant, and dude, just bring you cash. That's what these guys want. Hell yeah, they do. Seems like NFL Europe is not only a matter of time. Yeah. Oh, I would assume. I mean, when I heard the last part, which means owners don't have to share revenue with two additional teams and just get money? Are you crazy? That's automatic. Oh, man. I've said this before. I was watching the NFL and I see end racism in the end zone. It takes all of us. I want to ask, what does it take all of us to do? Inspire change. Well, what are we changing? See, here's what I think should be on the back of NFL end zones. End domestic abuse among our players and our former players. That's what should be in the end zone. End racism. Oh, really? Oh, okay. I agree. It's time for African Americans to stop going on TV and calling us white people, white boy, that white girl, only because of that white girl. White boy wasted. I agree. The racism by African Americans is stunning, at least publicly. I mean, the girl in Charlotte was killed because she was white. The killer said it. But all these African Americans on TV can't admit it. Stop with that racism. I'm with you, Commish. It takes all of us to do what? They should put, hey, don't even put the hey, too long. end domestic violence by our players and our former players. Listen to this. The estranged wife of former NFL great linebacker Thomas Davis of the Carolina Panthers. She's been arrested. That's right. For attacking a woman she believed was having an affair with her husband. Sister be crazy. Sister whooping ass. You don't mess with Tommy Davis's woman. Kelly Davis is accused of hitting chiropractor Laura Watterson several times at her office in Charlotte on August 26, accusing her of hooking up with Thomas, according to court documents obtained by TMZ. As I tried to guide her out of the front door of my office, she hit me, knocked my glasses off, hit me again on the other side of the head. Well, don't be banging her husband. Hey, sympathy is between shit and syphilis in the dictionary when you're banging someone else's husband. Nah, seriously. Watterson filed a complaint. What? Hey, look, I'm just banging this pig, Thomas Davis. I'm just banging this no-integrity clown. And the wife comes in and she's all pissed. Beat the shit out of me. I want to file a complaint. Kelly and Thomas Davis tied the knot March 08. They split March 24th when she claimed longtime Carolina Panther engaged in illicit sexual conduct with at least 6 women other than her while they were together. Yeah, that's what they should put in. They should put in the end zone. Stop domestic violence and stop having affairs, you pigs. Yeah, hey, man, he's a man. You know, a man's got needs. You know. No, I don't know. Thomas Davis is a pig. And his wife, well, you don't mess with her. And that lady Watterson got what she deserved. If the evidence says, I mean, based on what I'm reading, she deserved her ass whooped. She got her ass whooped. Move along, people. Sometimes a good ass whooping is what you need. It is. Why not? Straightens people out. Woke liberal Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs got exposed by her political challenger, Karen Taylor Robinson, a Republican running for governor in Arizona, when Robson actually called into a radio show the Lib was appearing on and asked her how she could defend Arizona going from the number 1 ranked state in the country for job growth prior to a liberal governor to now ranked 47th under her watch. This is pretty good. We got a chick cat fight on the air. I need one of those. Here it is.
I want to play one more from Robeson. She hits you on the Arizona economy, and I want you to have a chance to say what you think. Here we go.
I think when the voters focus in on the general election, Katie Hobbs is going to have to defend a record that's been disastrous. Just on the economy, for example, we went from number 1 in the nation before she took office to number 47. I mean, it's just been a precipitous decline in job growth and job creation.
1 to 47.
I'm not clear what those numbers are referencing. They could be anything. Not clear what
there
those
it
numbers
is.
are referencing. They could be anything. Not clear what those numbers are referencing. They could be anything.
I don't know. I don't know.
Numbers are referencing. They could be anything.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's very clear what those numbers are referencing. I got to ask you. I really do. I got to ask you. Is there anybody that you know that has any sense whatsoever that could possibly vote for a liberal to go to any office? Like that dumbass DEI, we were going to vote for her because she's a sister. Charlotte Mayor won a primary yesterday, I believe. How could you possibly vote for this idiot? Honest to God. Honest to God. How could you? How could you possibly, when you see what's happening with cities, even if you don't like Republicans, I guess that's the only reason, how could you possibly vote for a Democrat to run your city. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't care. I don't give a damn whether you're a Republican. I don't give a damn whether you're a Democrat. I don't give a damn. Just do the job for us, the people. And it doesn't seem to be that hard. It doesn't. It seems to be a little bit easier. And I am shocked that somebody, and I know there's idiots out there. I know that a brother will vote for a brother and a sister will vote for a sister. And then, you live with the consequences of what they do to your city. And I get it all. I do. I mean, in Indianapolis, we got a white dude here, Joe Hogsett, who's the worst mayor in the United States. I mean, the rumors of him being intoxicated or at a rehab center during the idiotic riots of the Summer of Love, nobody's ever asked, other than me, where he was on those nights. But he got 72% of the vote, despite being the worst candidate in the history of mayors in our city. No, it's unbelievable what's going on here. It's incredible what is happening here. Man, oh man. Hey, couple things before we get to Trey Wallace. This is a monster weekend in college football. This is a great weekend. So, a piece of advice. Don't get married this weekend. No, seriously. Cancel whatever it is you're doing. If you were going to get married this weekend, chances are 50-50. It's not going to work out anyway. So do yourself a favor, and to quote Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, don't. Just don't. Wisconsin, under the tutelage of our friend, my dentist, Dr. Mike O'Neill, his son Danny is the quarterback at Wisconsin, is going to go into Alabama. Wisconsin's going to get beat by 1,000, but if they happen to win, that's it for Kayla DeBoer. That's interesting to me. Is it not interesting to you? Georgia's going into Tennessee. Now, I don't know about you. I never really cared about Georgia. I do now. Georgia going into Tennessee, I don't know, man. That's kind of fun. All of a sudden, USF, South Florida, is interesting. They're going into Miami. I don't know about you, but that's interesting and fun. Could this be the last game for Billy Napier, or could this be the rebirth of Billy Napier? Florida goes into LSU. Texas A&M goes into Notre Dame. All I know is this. This is a fun weekend because the places you're going to get to watch games are hosting games. It's fun watching a night game at LSU. It's fun when Notre Dame plays at night. Those places matter. They do. The game probably matters more, but Miami actually having a great crowd for their opener against Notre Dame was fun. Crowds matter. And this weekend, we get great environments, particularly at night. When we're done with the day, having fun on a Saturday, and we settle in, and our fat asses get to watch. I can't wait. Talk to Trey Wallace about it next.
This fall,
You're not just watching the biggest game in college football.
you're at the game.
Bama versus Georgia.
September 27th, Athens.
OutKick's giving one lucky fan and a guest the VIP treatment.
Flights covered.
Hotel covered.
Game tickets, of course.
No purchase necessary.
Just hit OutKick.com/sweepstakes.
College football weekend of a lifetime. OutKick.com/sweepstakes.
So are we going to have YouTube TV and Fox and everything? Everything's going to be fine by game day, right?
Well, I'm not so sure about that. At least if you're a YouTube TV subscriber, the statement that Fox put out last night was scathing, to say the least. They accused YouTube TV of, taking advantage of their sort of, power and monopoly in the marketplace and not having any sort of serious discussion. So at this point, if I'm a YouTube TV subscriber and I want to watch Texas, Ohio State, my plan is to get up early and get a seat at the bar.
Well, that's a great plan. Actually.
Meanwhile, Chad, if you want to see Auburn and Baylor, like you're screwed. You're absolutely screwed.
Yeah, as a Fox employee, I've got the free subscription to Fox One, so I can watch Auburn and Baylor on there. That's kind of a humble brag on my part, but I will be seeing that even as a YouTube TV subscriber, which is amazing for me. Not so much for the college football fan out there. Amanda, when you cover these stories in sports business and coverage of leagues that get into these disputes with providers, is it the ultimate loser just the consumer of the sport or that product? Like, we understand why these things happen with one gigantic company wanting more money out of another gigantic company. That part of it to me is kind of boring, but what the actual effect is to the fan.
I have a vested interest this week in SEC football. My dentist and longtime friend, Dr. Michael Neal, his son Danny is the starting quarterback at Wisconsin, and they go in and play Alabama in a really weird game, and I love it, right? Our friend Trey Wallace, he is all over this. We were talking off air, Trey and I, about games and where they are. But where they are, Death Valley, Notre Dame playing, it just, and when they're playing, just makes it fun. This is a massive weekend, Trey.
Man, Dan, you couldn't have said it better, man. And it's all about the venues. Happy to be with you, by the way. But, man, you look at this thing, like you mentioned, Wisconsin going to Alabama. Okay, intriguing matchup to me. Like, oh, let's see what Alabama does. But just nostalgia, okay? You got Florida going to Baton Rouge and Death Valley Saturday night. You got Texas A&M traveling to Notre Dame. You got USF in-state rivalry going to Miami for an afternoon kickoff coming off last weekend. I even mentioned something to you kind of briefly. I know there won't be a lot of eyeballs on it, but even like USC going to Purdue, like that's such a weird type of matchup. I get that it's in the Big Ten now, but it's still kind of weird. And then, we got Tennessee and Georgia Saturday afternoon. I'll be covering that one at Neyland Stadium, and Tennessee looking to snap a streak. Like you love these college football weekends, my man, and we are here. And I'm telling you, this is going to be a monumental Saturday, I think, in the sport.
All right. There's buyouts. There's all kind of things involved. Can or will, I don't know about will, but can a SEC coach get fired, or will, I guess, this year mid-season? Like if Wisconsin pulls the unlikely and Florida keeps getting his ass, I mean, can we see an SEC coaching change in season this year?
I think we can, Dan, and I think we've talked about this privately. It's all about this new era of college athletics. By the way, let's not forget, the NCAA is about to change the transfer portal rules. We're only going to have one, and that one's going to start in January, taking away the spring. I'm just going to throw that caveat on there. You look at where we're at and the money having to be spent and the contracts with these players and even the contracts with the coaches. We saw it a few years ago with Ed Orgeron. I think at the same time, you looked at the Jimbo Fisher situation and you kind of knew what was coming down the pipe at Texas A&M. These athletic departments can no longer wait till the end of the season to make these moves. You got to get ahead of the things. And I'm not saying you can go out and hire a coach and, let's just say Florida, for instance. Florida is not going to be able to go out and hire a top-tier coach who's already at a program and have him leave his other job and start there in late December. But what I am saying is that you get the ball rolling here. You figure out who are my top two coaches that I'm going to be able to have a conversation with right when the season ends. that I know are interested in the job. And that's what, all athletic directors have their little black book, Dan, that, coaches that they wish they could have. But at the same time, I think we are in such a new era of this sport. I think you're going to see it. Is it going to be Billy at Florida? Is it going to be Sam Pittman at Arkansas? Is Kentucky going to sack up and pay over $35 million to Mark Stoops? To me, it's going to be fascinating to see how the next, month plays out, because a lot of tough decisions are going to have to be made.
Man, I've said this forever. Back, I don't know, 06, 05, whatever it was. I got Steve Alford, who was the head coach at Iowa. I got him the New Mexico job in the middle of the season. The Mexico AD was a good friend of mine, called me in about January, said, I heard Alford's out. I'm getting rid of my coach. I want to talk to him. I called Steve. This is mid-January. I said, hey, man, you interested? He said, yeah. His agent met, and the deal was done way before it was ever announced. So to your point, it happens all the time. All right, I do got to ask about a couple of things. Here we go. You ready?
I'm ready,
If
bud.
South Florida wins this game, what does that do to South Florida, number one? And I feel like there's Notre Dame's win, or I don't know. It hurts Notre Dame. I don't know. I'm trying to think long term here. I think this South Florida Miami game is interesting for other teams. Wrong?
You're not wrong. And what it would do for South Florida right off the bat. Remember when Boise State jumped on the scene out of nowhere about 15, 16, 17 years ago? That's what you're about to see with South Florida. If they go on the road, they've already got folks' attention, by the way. They beat the hell out of Boise State to open the season. You go down to Gainesville, you win that game, or go up to Gainesville, however you want to look at it, and you win that game. If you go to Miami and you complete a trifecta to start the season, I'm telling you, Alex Golesh is going to skyrocket. And I'm curious to see what that would look like with other jobs, or does he decide he wants to stick around and I know we have a long season to go, but you asked me about this weekend, and I think even you talked about Notre Dame too, my brother. If Texas A&M were to go into Notre Dame, which I don't think is going to happen and win, but we'll see. They've already got 2 losses. Okay, so what's that do to them when it comes to the playoff? Like, there is a domino effect around college football, and you kind of hit on it too. Like, if USF beats Miami, okay, well, what does that win look like, that Miami had over Notre Dame earlier in the season? Like, so there's different ways to look at this one. And I just think if we have seen these stories come out of nowhere. Last year we saw Indiana, and I'm not trying to compare Indiana with USF, but what I am trying to tell you is these teams that kind of just, bam, hit you right in the face, and they're like, wait, where'd you come from? And then all of a sudden you were the talk of college football. Because you can, South Florida can get a G5 bid to the playoff. But, man, if they beat Miami, forget the G5 bid. They're going to get an automatic bid just for being in the top 12, period. They wouldn't need. So what I'm getting at overall, we are at a situation right now where there could be a lot of different ramifications coming off losses this weekend. And I know it's early in the year, but again, man, if Notre Dame can't afford that loss on Saturday. If that were the case, they got to run the table for the rest of the season, in my opinion. And at the same time, if Miami loses to South Florida, and I'm not saying that's going to happen, because I think Miami has a lot more talent than what Florida has or what Boise State has. But I'm just saying, if it does, Alex Golesh, he's going to have his pick of jobs next year when it comes to this sport. And I wouldn't think that maybe he'd stay in South Florida. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there at you.
My thing is this, though. This is why I like a max. I don't know if it's max. I don't know. But this is why I don't like a big-time expanded playoffs, because I think you get excited for these games because of the ramifications. I didn't ask the question very well, but you answered it very well, because the ramifications, like people said, well, Notre Dame losing doesn't hurt them last week or 2 weeks ago against Miami. Bullshit. Now that bar or that margin for error thins out, and that's what makes this fun to me. That's what makes college football different college basketball, you turn on a game on a Wednesday night and it's a good game, and then you turn on the same team is playing somebody good. I mean, Saturday. But this makes it – that's why I don't want a massive playoff expansion, because this makes this weekends like this, a blast, Trey.
If we even if we went to 16 teams, it kind of changes things up, where you're looking at if A&M went into Notre Dame this weekend and won, okay, well, Notre Dame is still a playoff contention. And it's like, wait a minute. You've lost 2 games in 3 weeks, but somehow you're still in the playoff conversation or still in that outlier. And Notre Dame is kind of different. I understand if they are ranked high enough, they get in. That's the new CFP rules. It has been since it got started. But at the same time, stop diminishing the regular season. Do you see what we are getting in the regular season, these matchups? And you want to tell me by the first week of November, none of this shit's going to matter? What happened in September? Stop it. Stop it. And that's why I don't like this. I can live with 16 teams, Dan. I can. Okay. I can find you 16 teams that would be able to fight. What I'm getting at is I'm not buying this Big Ten BS of 24 to 28 teams. Like, if you're going to expand, keep it at 16. But my biggest thing, and I look at it, is, my God, we just got started with 12 and you're all of a sudden now wanting to change it again. Like, I love where we're at right now in college football, but I'm telling you, if you keep expanding it, you're moving the goalpost. And so I think that's what ended up hurting the sport even more. But just, that's why we don't take these weekends for granted. This massive slate on Saturday, you look at it and you realize how big this could be for the rest of the year. And that's why I love it. I'll take it.
Yeah. Hey, is John Gruden a viable candidate? I'm not saying at Florida, anywhere. Is he a viable college candidate given his background basically not being in college? What do you think?
I think so. I think he's a viable candidate. Now, it all depends on the job, Dan. Do I think that he could go into Gainesville and take over, the Florida football program? To me, that's a stretch. No. But at the same time, I could see him taking an Arkansas job, or even a Kentucky job if he wants to hop in the SEC. Always talks about, I met my wife at Tennessee and whatnot. I'm a Southern guy. Okay, I could see that. There's just not a lot of jobs out there that I could picture John Gruden in. And I think and also you have to realize this too. John Gruden is such a good football coach, but he's going to have to be a really good CEO, because he's got to hire the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator, the staff, delegate that, and let him run the football program as a whole. So I do think that, in talking with some folks, I do think you're going to start hearing the name a little bit more over the next month or two. And by December, let's see where we're at. But somebody's going to want to strike gold because of the name and the finances that come with John Gruden as well. And I think that's what you have to keep an ear out on too, when we're looking at these college. Like, can you imagine Calipari and Gruden at the same school for the next 3 years if that were to happen? Like, and what I mean by that is, it's all about attention. It's all about selling season tickets. It's all about trying to compete. But at the end of the day, athletic department's got to make money. You know that. Let's just see what this thing looks like down the road.
All right. Where are you at with 2 people in college football? One, Arch Manning after a couple games, and the other, Bill Belichick after a couple games. Where are you at with each?
Arch Manning needed time to develop as a quarterback in college football, and he's got the next 3 weeks, or let me rephrase that, 2 weeks to do that, coming off last weekend. I give him a lot of credit for what he said post-game, that, you know what, this was sloppy. We didn't play up to standards. And this is a guy that went out for 4 touchdowns in the span of 6 minutes. But at the same time, Arch Manning is still trying to figure out, I think he understands what it is to be a leader for the Texas Longhorns and talking to some folks in Austin, but also being on that main stage, being that guy, the checkdowns, the reads, deciding whether to tuck and run here. I think once we get to that Florida game, Dan, he's going to be settled in as a college quarterback. But I think there were just too many expectations put on him for that first game at Ohio State. And it's like I've mentioned on here before. He told folks to calm down in July at Media Days. He told folks, he said, I don't know why the hell you guys got me on these lists. I get it. It's my name. I only played 2 games. What I'm saying is, when you have to go up against a ferocious defense like Matt Patricia had at Ohio State to open the year, they were going to throw everything at that young man. I think he continues to progress. progress as a quarterback. I think he gets better, and so does Texas. And we'll see if they're in playoff contention. I had him at 3 losses already, Dan. So I'm sitting kind of pretty right now. We'll see where that lands out, but he'll get better. As for Belichick, it's funny. Nobody's paying attention to what the hell they did this past weekend. Nobody cares. They went on the road and beat Charlotte. Congratulations to you. Like, whatever. You were on ESPN Plus. I think the final score was like 25-3 or something. Nobody cares, man. Yeah, and I think you're gonna continue seeing that, by the way, until he plays Dabo in a few weeks. Like, it's just another story. And I think after everything that happened in week 1, like, sure, like, you can still be happy about it, and you can still hate watch Belichick if you would like, but you're going to have to find different avenues to try to find him, because he's going to be on the pluses and the CWs and whatnot going forward. So as big of a story as Bill Belichick was before the season started, it shows you how far it's kind of fallen over the last 2 weeks, where nobody really cares, man. And at the end of the day, this is North Carolina football. And by the way, as bad as they were at times under Mac Brown, like, at least they were competing in some of these games, and I know it's 2 games in, and I get that. But at the same time, we're about to find out, man, because they got themselves a schedule. And, I just feel like the Belichick thing is calmed down. And here's the thing I'll end it on. Until he beats somebody, that's when we'll start having that conversation about Belichick again. Or if he loses to somebody he's not supposed to, it's going to get tense over there in Chapel Hill. While his girlfriend's out there, filing trademarks and Taylor Swift manners for Bill Belichick and his face. Well, oh my God, it's unwarranted attention, Dan. It's stupid, man.
One of the things that I have learned, and you hear cliches and you're like, oh, okay. First impressions are lasting. They are really, really lasting. And I do think this. A lot of people said, well, Deion Sanders got all that attention for whatever the reason, and it continued. I said, yeah, Deion Sanders got all that attention because he opened up the career at Colorado by beating a team that came off the college football playoff the previous year. And then he won again the next week against, Wisconsin or Nebraska?
Nebraska.
I'm like, first impressions are a bitch. So the first impression of Belichick was that his team sucks. So, no, he's not going to get the same attention. Win, and we pay attention.
That's right. And don't forget as well, because we were at that game, OutKick, Colorado took USC to the final 2 minutes, of that football game. Right. That was the week after Nebraska. So what I'm getting at is, and also don't forget, you had Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders as well to sell tickets and sell ratings. Belichick doesn't have that. So that's why that comparison to me never made sense whatsoever, because Belichick had to replace 70 roster spots. So good luck is what I'm getting. We'll see about the old Deion thing Friday night against Houston. That'll be a fun one.
Yeah. I mean, he's putting in different guys. In fact, the kid that I talked about, Danny O'Neal, who's quarterback, he started last year at San Diego State. Now he's at Wisconsin. He originally committed to Deion Sanders and Colorado, and then when that guy Lewis left and went to San Diego State, he left. And, we'll see. You got to have a quarterback, and Sanders is playing with the third string. Last thing before we go. This is why I like college football. And I've told Indiana fans this, Trey, for as long as I've been on radio, 20 years. I've always been, college football is my number one thing. I always said, man, is it going to be fun? In 2 weeks, we've got Illinois, who's going to beat Western Michigan, who already beat Duke, all that kind of stuff. And Indiana's going to beat the crap out of Indiana State. We've got the biggest ticket, I think, in the history of Indiana football. Not the playoffs, regular season, in the history of Indiana football coming up. We do. Illinois is coming into Indiana. It's a night game under the lights against on NBC. And to me, it's just, I go back to celebrating college football. It's just fun to be a part of what you guys have had for years and years and years living in the South. And that's going to be a hell of a game. So I can't wait. Can't wait.
I'm telling you, buddy, I've got it written down on my notes as a potential spot to go cover a football game in 2 weeks. Like that, it's on the list here, and there's only one other game that would knock it off. So I agree with you. I think that's what brings the spectacle of the sport. It's good to see Indiana back in the conversation like they were last year, and then you bring in Illinois, who going to be a top 12 team in the country when that game happens. You look at the quarterback battles in Altmaier and Mendoza. I'm just telling you, man, this is one of those atmospheres. Big Noon should be there at the same time. Probably game days should be there. I'm just saying, like, this is why we love the sport. It's because we get these matchups. So let's get both of those teams with no losses over the next 2 weeks, take care of business, and then we are lining up for a big old game. And look, that is, I think, why we love the regular season so much. And that's why I don't want to see it watered down with the playoff too going forward, because my goodness, that type of matchup this early in the season. Hello, Big Ten football. I see you.
I was just, as I thought about it, texting the athletic director at Indiana to get 2 tickets to that game, press pass.
Look at you flexing,
and
my man.
And I realized I got a wedding that night, a fucking wedding that night with a guy who's a huge Indiana fan. I got his daughter's getting married, or is his son or his daughter? His daughter's getting married. I literally thought about it and was getting ready to text Scotty Dolson.
Dan, brother, look, man, here's the plan, okay? And nobody out there is listening, so don't worry. None of the producers and people in New York, nobody's listening. On Friday, you're going to have a bad case of food poisoning that's going to last through the weekend, and you're just going to go under the radar for about 48 hours.
Yeah.
Just nobody's listening. You're good. We got to get you to Bloomington for that game, my man. I'm sorry.
Got to get there. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks.
Say apologies to the daughter. It happens. It's college football. But there's your plan. Thank you, brother.
I can't believe that my buddy Tom Jolly allowed his daughter to get married on that day. All right. Oh, man. It's What the Hell Wednesday. When we come back, Herm Edwards is going to join us at the bottom of the hour. I'm not lying either. Scott Dolson was a manager on the basketball team. He's the AD at Indiana, and I never asked him for tickets, but I was going to see if he could sneak me in. And we got a wedding. God dang. We'll be right back.
Folks, I can't believe this is real life, but here we go again. At 2:30 a.m., a federal activist judge by the name of, I kid you not, Sparkle Suknanen halted a repatriation flight full of illegal alien unaccompanied minors from Guatemala from being returned to Guatemala at the request of the Guatemalan government to be reunited with their parents in Guatemala. Judge Sparkle cited child safety and due process in this emergency order as her reasoning for halting the flight just before takeoff. Forgive me, Sparkle, but these children, these minors, came into our country alone from Guatemala, effectively orphaned in a foreign country. And you think keeping them here in a foreign country, away from their parents in their home country, is about their welfare? First, this is another case of judicial overreach. The executive branch, meaning President Trump, has the authority to enforce immigration law. Blocking a lawful deportation at the last minute, especially one requested by the child's home country, is BS. Second, it undermines border enforcement. When courts send the message that even deportations involving coordination with foreign governments can be stopped by legal challenges, it reinforces the idea that illegal entry leads to indefinite stays, a major pull factor in illegal immigration and ultimately what the Democrats want. Third, this situation risks incentivizing more dangerous child smuggling. If minors can't be quickly and lawfully returned, families and traffickers see it as a green light to keep sending kids alone across that border. Also, who's in control of our border policy? Our elected government or unelected judges like Ms. Sparkle? Bottom line, American libs want illegal aliens to stay here. All of them. Gangbangers, the unaccompanied orphans, the traffickers, the wife beaters, all of them. Is there a single illegal alien they are in favor of deporting?
I'll give you What the Hell Wednesday. Remember when Nancy Pelosi and all the guilty-ass white people in their own minds knelt and wore, African dresses or whatever for that idiot fentanyl-ridden George fucking Floyd? Remember that? Remember all that? I don't see much for this Ukrainian girl. I don't see shit for this Ukrainian girl. I don't see nobody saying nothing. I don't see all those people with their little Ukraine flags in their bios coming out and criticizing the animal. And yeah, he was an animal, and if you don't like it, fuck off. But the animal that brutally stabbed her and then celebrated saying, hey, I killed the white girl. I mean, I don't see any of these jackasses. Remember we all had to cower? You know, when the Summer of Idiots was going on, we all had to cower. We all had to put the little black space, and we all had to say, oh, is it about race? And then that dumbass Acho put in uncomfortable conversations with a black man where, 5% of the population kills everybody in our population, but we're not supposed to talk about that. We all had to acquiesce to a bunch of fucking idiots robbing, raping, and stealing in our cities. Remember all that? Whatever happened to that now, that a black dude viciously killed a white girl? Whatever happened to that? Like, where's Nancy Pelosi kneeling down? That's the big What the Hell Wednesday. Where's George Clooney? Where's, all these idiots that stood so strongly? Remember when your black friend asked you, do you see color? And we all had to bullshit and go, oh, no, fuck off, all of it. Just treat people the same. Just act the same. I remember a friend of mine, Dan, do you see color? I go, just fuck off. I go, you see color. You call people white boy. Just shut up. And go along, and now let's go get a beer. Honest to God, being called racist used to be like, oh, you can't, oh my God, I'm terrified. Now it's like every day. So some racist, crazy animal decided to kill a white girl on a train, and nobody gives a shit. Some fentanyl-ridden asshole who was a career criminal gets put down because of fentanyl, the toxicology says, and everybody protests. No, fuck that. No, it's stupid. Just treat everybody the same. And I ain't afraid to say it. I'm not. It's so stupid you get so tired. That's your What the Hell Wednesday. That's it. We're in the rotunda, and the black pastor's here. And, oh, my God, we got to make sure the black pastor sees that me as a white guy is kneeling for George Floyd. Shut the fuck up. Sorry, Mom. Anyway, another week of bringing you the craziest shit. That's the craziest shit. That Penny guy saved that from happening on a subway, and he got prosecuted, and the liberal dumbass media and politicians persecuted that guy. He saved an African-American woman for getting murdered like that Ukrainian girl did. Nah, it just pisses you off. Just treat people equal. Simple. That's what my mom and dad taught me. Treat people equal. That's What the Hell Wednesday. That is. But you're racist because you said George Floyd. Now, build a statue. Go piss on that statue is what you should do. All right, Davey, that was I don't know. Let's have a look. I mean, just lift a leg. Hey, George, here you go, man, you freaking criminal. Anyway, here you go. Oh, boy. Oh, man, what are you doing? Hey, Davey, a piece of advice to you and our listeners over there. When something is rolling down a hill that is bigger and stronger and out of control than you, do yourself a favor. Get out of the way.
I will take that advice, Dan. I will take it. I don't understand why you think of a full ATV rolling down the hill is something you're going to be able to stop. But it looks like he was trying to protect his own ATV, but it's like, you got to get out of the way, man.
Yeah, you know what? You get out of the way. If the ATV is running to your right, you go left. If the ATV is rolling down to your left, you go right. What? How about that? All right, next. George Floyd. Jeez. Meals on Wheels.
You're really not going to make me one?
There we go.
I guess.
Wow.
Once more coming
wow.
right
Davey, what do we? Wow.
You like the ingenuity,
let me
Dan?
Get this out of here so I can hear better. Holy cow! This guy, Davey. Look at this guy.
Part of me likes
that's
the
in the
creativity.
van, huh? Wow. What do you got?
I look at it like this, Dan. I mean, you're hungry. You just take. That's the true definition of fast food.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Wow. All right. I mean, that takes distracted driving. Could you imagine if you were a cop and you pulled that thing over? You're like, hey, man, what are you doing? Like, well, you cooking meth? No, man. Marshmallows. What's the problem? Davey, I've seen, we've all heard of, I haven't seen it, but a girl, Stephen A. Smith's producer, actually ran a porno company. She did. And she had a van. She had a porn van. They would shoot video in the van, that kind of thing. And she also had a warehouse. But I don't know if I've ever seen that other than maybe a food truck. You?
No, definitely never seen anything like that, Dan. I do like your point about would have loved to seen like the cops' body cam footage had they come up on somebody. Just going to your point before we even started this, the Summer of Love, like the big thing that came out of that was all the cops had to wear body cam footage. I kind of just took that as, everyone's like, oh, we're going to get to see like all these bad cops. I'm like, if anything, it's actually backfired for the liberals because you're actually seeing the idiots they have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Right. And it's like, right. It's even made people more pro-cop. It's interesting. But as far as fire in the car, there's like 5,000 ways this can go wrong real fast.
Oh, my God. There's no way. I guess it goes right by him being able to eat food. But my God, man. All right, next. Oh, God. Oh, my gosh. Oh, I don't want to watch that again. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Oh, my God. I don't know if I've ever. Did you hear the crunch? Did I hear the crunch right? I'm not looking.
That's great audio.
Was gross.
Yeah. I'm glad the audio picked that up. But, yeah, that's bones are not supposed to make that sound, Dan.
No. No, they're not. Oh, my, I'm not watching. I seriously am not watching. That, to me, that shocked me. Hey, bones are not supposed to make that sound. Boy, is that right. Man, wow. Oh, all right. I don't want to see that. I don't. There's very few things I don't want to see. I want to see that. Next. Wow. The two guys are pussies. I mean, they sound like pussies. They acted like pussies. I'm not trying to get sweaty. All you got to do is help a woman out. I love her ingenuity, Davey. But those two guys talk like pussies. I'm sure they look like little bitches. Sorry, Mom. That pisses me off. We just sit there with our phone instead of helping somebody. Davey, I'm not happy. That's the what the hell part of it, although I think she's a genius with the skateboards.
I'm with you, Dan. I love the...
Boom. No. Next. That's pretty good, though. Those guys suck. Those guys do suck. He's good, guys. Came back in the morning in a wheelchair, Davey. He's in a wheelchair.
Dan, you know what I always say? Gravity is undefeated.
Oh, yeah. 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 Gravity. Look at this guy, though. He's just sitting in a wheelchair.
Dan, did you ever get your kids one of those Razor scooters?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what's funny? I just bought one yesterday.
Really?
I just bought a electric scooter. Yeah. Not a Razor, but I bought a I live on a golf course. I don't have a golf cart yet, and I told Lee I want a scooter because I want to go down to the practice green and I want to drive my car. And then on Friday and Saturday night, I don't want to. I'm going to go drink beers over here at the clubhouse, and I want a scooter to scoot home. So I just bought one yesterday. It should be here tomorrow. Yeah, not a Razor, an electric one.
Duly noted. Are you going to take it on any jumps?
I back in the day, yes. There was a Honda 70, a little motorcycle we used to ride. I flew over a creek and didn't go good. I landed in a fence. So jumps, no. Next. No jumps. No. Oh, hey, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. The weirdest shit you'll see on the internet. Guys, do yourself a favor. Just help girls. I mean, how about those guys on that train? How about those guys that just sat there and watched this girl get stabbed? You got to live with that. Now, I'm sure the idiots have in there, but man, I ain't helping nobody, man. That guy was crazy. Yeah, okay. Help women. Can you? I mean, dive on the guy. Kick him in the balls. Do something. I don't know. All right, the NFL has made its ruling on another moron, Jalen Carter, who, when he spat on Dak Prescott, walked off looking incredibly fat, incredibly stupid, and, frankly, incredibly Georgia-like. He did. He looked like a big dumbass that plays football at the University of Georgia, which he did. He looks like a big dumbass that was involved in a drag race that actually killed 2 other people, which he did, and he looked like he didn't understand any of it, which I'm sure he didn't. He looked like a dumbass because, well, frankly, Jalen Carter is a dumbass. He has been punished for Spitgate, they call it. The NFL says Carter has been suspended without pay for 1 game for his act of unsportsmanlike conduct in last Thursday's game against the Cowboys. But there's a caveat to him. But because Carter was disqualified before participating in a single play, the suspension is considered to be served week 1, and he will forfeit his game check, which comes to $57,222. That seems fair to me. That does. $57,000. I know this idiot's going to blow through all his money like 75% of NFL players do. And it doesn't seem like a lot of money now, but it is. That's his game check. He's gotten bonuses. He's gotten signing bonuses. He's made a lot of money, but his salary for the year, base salary, is $1 million. $57,000 is out of his pocket. All right. Hey, it is open season on the DEI idiots, and it should be, including Ryan Clark, and even the Los Angeles Ram president, Kevin Demoff. He's getting in on the fun. Lion Ryan and the rest of ESPN panels all predicted the Texans to take down the Rams. They were all proven wrong, which doesn't surprise. Demoff made sure to get his shots in on Ryan Clark. I guess being an ex-player doesn't help analysts make better picks. Ryan Lion Clark and the DEI hires next to him and big, fat, stupid Marcus Spears or DeMarcus or whatever the hell his name is, they all got it wrong. Now, that's 2 former players that got it wrong. UCLA football is a joke. And all you got to do is look at Deshaun Foster. Deshaun Foster's the head coach. His speech at the Big Ten Media Day is legendary for its stupidity. He showed, what was to come. It's been revealed their backup quarterback, Pierce Clarkson, was arrested on felony charges Friday night ahead of UCLA's game, the night before the game against Danny Mullen's UNLV squad. So the night before the game, this kid gets a felony charge. The LA Times reporting Clarkson was charged with assault with a deadly weapon and great bodily injury. There you go. Yeah. All right. You go. Got a bit of a mess in Westwood as the quarterback, Nico, whatever the hell his name is, came over and they suck. And they're going to continue to suck. What UCLA should do is what UCLA tried to do years ago. They made a massive offer to Urban Meyer. Massive. They should try that again. I don't know. Maybe Urban wants to live in Westwood. Who knows? Speaking of jokes, Big Fat Biffster. The Big Fat Biffster is back. Biffy, who was a financial analyst, wanted to get into coaching, became friends with Harbaugh, was on his staff, and then left before everything went down to Charlotte. Had a couple decent years, got fired from Charlotte. Now he's back with Harbaugh. Now he's back with Sharon Wright, whatever the hell his name is, Sharon Moore. So Biff Poggi, the big fat ass who has no self-discipline, who was previously the head coach at Charlotte, where he went, 6-16 in 2 seasons at the helm before getting his ass canned, has been tabbed as the new acting head coach. Well, Sherrone Moore does what Sherrone Moore does, serves a 2-game suspension. Now, the upcoming games, Central Michigan, they weren't suspending him for Oklahoma, where Sherrone Moore helped his team get its ass beat and watched his sideline implode. But Sherrone Moore out for 2 games, Central Michigan and Nebraska. Here's Sherrone Moore explaining why Big Fat Biff is the new head coach.
On the left, Clayton.
I guess who's going to be the interim coach or coaches the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, we'll operate as a collective unit. Chip will handle the offense, Wink will handle the defense, JB will handle the special teams, but the overall operation, Coach Biff Poggi, will stand in as the interim, and it'll be, it'll flow like normal. And obviously, I won't be on the sideline and be there, but how we handle game days with, Chip handling the offense and Wink handling the defense and JB handling the special teams, will feel the same, and our players they'll be ready to go.
How many times can Sherrone Moore get suspended? How many times can this idiot get suspended? Davey, I don't know if we have an answer to that. But how many times can this fool get suspended? Do you think he will get another suspension by the end of the year? I just feel like, you know what? I'm fascinated by it. I am. I'm fascinated, Davey.
I don't see him getting suspended anymore, Dan, unless it's something that, just completely off the rails that we've not heard of. I do view him as a guy, though. I can't see him sticking around long at Michigan. I just don't think he's a good coach. No. Eventually, he's going to have talent, but he's going to underperform with said talent. So while he's not going to have any more suspensions come down the pike, it's just I give him – Michigan fans will move on at some point next year. He will not be the coach going into 2027.
Going into 2027, I got to do some thinking on that. So that means he's got, in your opinion, this year and next year.
Yes.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree. I would make it 25% he's not the coach going into next year. Okay. I would make it the other way. I'd make it 75% he's not the coach going into, what did you say, 2027? I would make it that.
Yeah,
he just seems stupid. Yeah.
They'll lose to they'll finally lose to Ohio State this season, and once that happens, it's just going to be a long off season because they'll make a bowl game, but it'll be a meaningless bowl game. And then it'll just be an entire offseason of, is Sherrone Moore actually capable of being the guy? It's like Jim Harbaugh handed him the program, and the fans are going to turn on him, and they're going to turn on him quick. We'll probably see more outbursts from guys like Bryce Underwood before it's all said and done, and that's just going to add fuel to the fire.
I agree. Complete and total surrender, the woke CEO of Cracker Barrel, has caved to the intense backlash he has. And he should. The brand has received intense backlash ever since they thought it was a good idea to change the iconic logo and storefront, with the CEO releasing a statement that they have halted the interior remodeling of their restaurants after being met with fire and fury from unhappy customers. Here it is. You shared your voices in recent weeks, not just on our logo, but also on our restaurants. We're continuing to listen. Today we're suspending our remodels. If your restaurant hasn't been remodeled, don't worry, it won't be. A recent announcement that our old-timer logo will remain, although our bigger focus in the kitchen and on your plate. We hope that today's step reinforces that we hear you. Good for you, man. I'm so glad you hear me. Yay. Yay, rah. You hear us. It's a bad week. There are ways around this. All you got to do is commission a study of actual human beings, not idiotic woke DEI folk. Commission a study. There are all kind of groups out there that do these things. There are all kind of focus groups. Hell, on radio, our station, they hire a focus group. What do people want to hear? They want to hear about the NFL and then maybe about Indiana basketball. If the Pacers are in the playoffs, fine. That if Indiana football makes the college football playoff, all right, talk about it. But really, it's one thing. It's the Colts, and then down here, it's Indiana basketball. And there are people that study these things. There are people that study restaurants. There are people that study streaming. There are people that study how to build a house. I mean, find one that isn't such a whack job that they're going to tell you, yeah, get rid of everything. Well, what? No. That's weird to me. These companies, I guess, maybe they put somebody in charge like that lady that made this decision for Cracker Barrel or the lady that made the decision for Bud Light. I mean, you put morons in charge that don't think. They think, but they think like other idiots. Jeez, I got to tell you. I should run the world. There's no question in my mind I should run everything. Me and Herm Edwards. Common sense. We'll be right back. This fall, you're not just watching the biggest game in college football. You're at the game.
Bama versus Georgia.
September 27, Athens.
OutKick's giving one lucky fan and a guest the VIP treatment.
This is your shot
to punch your ticket to the college football weekend of a lifetime.
Flights covered.
Hotel covered.
Game tickets, of course.
We're also hooking up 10 more fans with OutKick hats, and everyone who enters gets a discount to the OutKick shop.
No purchase necessary.
Just hit OutKick.com/sweepstakes.
College football weekend of a lifetime. OutKick.com/sweepstakes.
Does anybody, is he going to have to stroke a check? Has anything like that happen as far as messing up anybody's houses in here?
He didn't. I did not hear any glass break. I did hear him say, please don't watch my shot. Don't look at that shot. But, he did well.
Landon, what did you think of the overall experience?
With all these live professionals and live golfers out here, their games didn't seem to impress me when I was caddying for Dan. I mean, he's easily the best golfer here at Chapman Hills. I mean, he's a great guy.
We're here with Dan's golf coach, Lee.
Yes.
How was today?
Up and down. I'm going to say up and down. I think first 9, Dan played really well. He did. And then got a little shaky towards the end there. Putting was way off. He's usually a better putter. Putting was way off. But you know what? Great day. A lot of good people. Had fun. And I have to say, as soon as I didn't have to be his caddy anymore, he may have started playing better.
I will say, the live experience, it seemed like every 3 or 4 holes there was a bar set up. Do you think once we kind of got to the bars, that played a pretty big impact as far as Dan's game?
It may have. I'm not gonna confirm that one way or the other.
We're here with the man of the hour, Dan Dakich. You just finished 18 holes. Dan, how are you feeling?
I feel great. I tell you what, it makes you feel like a big guy. You're inside the ropes. You're playing like a set-up championship course. I hit the ball good, couldn't putt, but what a great time. My wife was there, Landon was there, great pros. I mean, what a great day. Thanks to everybody at OutKick for letting me do it, get me in this thing. Yeah, I don't know. The overestimation of I got tired. I'm not going to lie, Davey. I don't know, the bars and all that. I did take a shot. Actually, I took 2 shots because my back started hurting. Here's what happens when you get old. I told my wife, I go, man, I'm getting stiff as I walk. I don't know. And I think when I went in the hot box, there was a bathroom that was in the sun, and I went in it, and I came out, and I was drenched with sweat. I'm like, oh, don't go in there, fellas. But thanks for coming out. That was a great day, and I got to lose my stomach. The stomach, it's got to go. Stomach has got to go. Too much stomach.
Nah, Dan, we had a great time. It was a lot of fun, and following around. You had some great interviews. We're going to have some more content coming out later. I know we got an interview we're about to play, but it was a good time. Yeah, it's the way in which Lee answered that question I thought was great because I had to go away for a bit, so I didn't know if things got off the rails while Ryan and I were away while y'all were, I guess, playing. I think it was around holes 1 through 5.
Started out really well in the back, and I did shank 2. I shanked 1 on the front, and and then on 8, I shanked 1 off the tee. But the beauty is we were playing a shambles, so you got to, play the best drive. But I think I needed to start drinking before the round. I think that was more important. I think, oh, man, I was telling Lee, I go, damn. And you should have seen, by the time we were done, You know, the great thing about football and the great thing about Herm Edwards is we got time. We got a week. Basketball, you play Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Football, you play on Sunday or you play on Saturday. We got all week. Herm, let's overreact. The Colts are the greatest team in football, and Daniel Jones reminds me of a combination of Johnny Unitas and Peyton Manning. Yes or no?
Well, yeah, if he wears the black high tops, he's a little bit more athletic than both those guys. But let me ask you this.
All right.
We forgot the other guy that I played against when I was with Philly, Burt Jones. Burt Jones was a pretty good athlete, could run a little bit. So, hey, you never know. We'll see.
I want to ask you from a head coaching perspective, because this happened, and I don't know whether I should defend him or not, but Brian Callahan coming out and saying, hey, one elbow doesn't equal 2 feet, and people are killing him as a head coach. I said this back in the day, Indianapolis, the Colts hired Jim Tressel to put him in the booth to kind of manage the game. There's a lot of rules in the NFL. How difficult is it? Is that absolutely egregious by Brian Callahan not to know that and challenge that?
Well, yeah, I mean, you need some help sometimes because you can't see it. And that's why you have eyes in the booth, and you're always in constant communication with those guys. And I had a guy up there, and it was something maybe where I couldn't see it. And they'd tell you right away, Coach, you got to challenge that one. And then you said, oh, hey, I throw the red flag. I'm going to challenge it. So you got to have some help because remember, when you're coaching football, there's a lot going on now. I mean, there's a whole lot going on, and you can't what you cannot do is get caught on one side of the ball, because you can't leave your post. In other words, sometimes when a team comes off, you want to go talk to them. You got to know when to talk to those guys when they come to the bench because your eyes always have to be on the field and you have to be in the situation that you're in as a football team. So there's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, that's the thing. And there's so many different NFL rules. I don't know. I mean, I knew that rule. I did. I knew one knee, one elbow, whatever. All right, who impressed you? What has impressed you week one in the NFL?
Well, I think when you think about week one, I would say the Green Bay Packers. With all that swirling around them and obviously Parsons going there, it was like, oh, this trade, right? Well, guess what? I mean, if you're a Green Bay fan, it's like, we're kind of good now. We got this one guy that can rush the passer. And I said it. Look, sometimes people fall asleep on the Packers even last year. These guys were 5th in total defense, right? We know they can score points. They had about 45 sacks as a team. Now when you get that number one guy, by the way, they gave him Curly Lambeau's number, right? So just think about this. This guy goes from Dallas. He goes to Green Bay. They have a number that's been retired. No one even knew about it. And it says, you know who had that? That's Curly Lambeau's number. They gave him number one. Then he shows up, and I'm going, he showed up and showed out. And they won. So now they become a team that defensively, they're going to play with a lead a lot because they can score points. That's right up the alley for that guy and those rushers they have.
When you look at that trade, what'd you see?
I saw Jerry. I think Jerry's frustrated with this, and I've said this numerous times. His star players in playoff competition, they don't play well. The ones he pays. Michael Parsons played in 4 playoff games. He got 1 sack. Now, you can say they double-teamed it and all that. I get all that. But at the end of the day, when you look at the star players that he's paid and you look at their playoff performance, doesn't match up. And you know this like in basketball. You're a basketball guy. Last time I checked, when you're the coach in basketball and you call timeout and you got 1 shot, the star, he getting the ball. He wants the ball. He's coach. Don't mention it. I'll get you the ball. You're going to shoot the ball. Don't worry about it. It's not like I'm going to give it to somebody else because they want that. They perform in big moments. And when Jerry made the trade, he says, you know what? I got to do this. Our run defense is not very good. It doesn't matter if we rush the passer. We can't stop the run. It ain't going to matter. And I'm tired of paying my star players, and they don't show up in playoff games.
Right.
Now, I just assume that. Look, I don't know that. You're asking me my opinion. Right. I'm giving you my opinion.
Bill Polian told me one time, look, Dan, and we had a long talk about coaching and players. He goes, it's kind of like this. At the end of games and big moments, it's players, not plays. Think about it. Think about the big moments in sports and what you remember. It's players, not the play that was ran for. We won a national championship in 1987. Key Smart hits a jump shot. We didn't run a play. And if we did, it was a freaking awful play, a fall-away jump shot out of bounds. It was a terrible play. But he hit the shot, Coach, and we got rings. We all got rings.
You're right. And sometimes we overestimate, hey, man, I got these good players. I remember in Philly, when we'd come in the huddle, and then toward the end of the game, when the game got tight, half the time, I didn't even walk in the huddle. And they said, Herm, I said, don't worry about it. I got my guy. I know it doesn't matter what he's going to call. I'm covering this guy. Don't worry about me. I'm good. You guys figure out what you want to do. I got to cover this guy.
That's what I'm saying, man. And so you get in the play. I always say this, and maybe I'm wrong, but in the postseason, there's a lot of 3 o'clock hitters. There's a lot of guys batting practice. Look at them, are great, one on nobody jump shooters. Who, in your opinion, and I'm not talking about, well, maybe I am talking about, if you had to take Mahomes out of it, but if you had to take 5 quarterbacks in the NFL that are going to be there 2 minutes to go in the Super Bowl, AFC, NFC championship, who would your 5 quarterbacks be that I got to have? You can't have Mahomes because he's already done it too many times.
Well, let's look down the road. I would take, for one, I would take Burrows out of the AFC North. I would definitely take Burrows. I might even take Lamar Jackson, right? Because his ability to beat you with his legs or his arm. I would take Josh Allen. He's my favorite. He's my favorite guy. I mean, I'm a Josh Allen fan. I love the guy, right? I love Josh Allen. That's on the NFC side of it. Let me look at on the NFC side of it.
Where would a guy like Jalen Hurts or Dak Prescott be? Where would
Jalen Hurts, I would take Jalen. I would take him over Dak. There's no doubt about that. I would take him over Dak. I would take Matthew Stafford. Right? Matthew Stafford's playing a lot of big games. That doesn't bother him. You know who else I would take? And he's not getting any love. And I gave him some love when the season started. Do you know that Baker Mayfield threw 41 touchdown passes last year? 41. People don't realize that. And I'm going, guys, Baker Mayfield is down there in Tampa balling right now. And he showed out again last week. Had the ball at the end. I'm going to win the game. Baker Mayfield has resurrected his career. He left Cleveland. He went down there to hey, Tampa Bay. And, he's over there in the old NFC South. You win 8 games, you could win it all. But he is balling out Baker Mayfield now.
I know. And he's back on my commercials. He's back selling Wendy's or something. So there you go. Hey, tell me about Herm's game plan. What do you got going?
Well, every week we come up with a game plan on we talk about a team or two, and I haven't really we'll start again this week, probably tomorrow or so, and come up with who do I want to talk about this week. And there's a couple teams. Obviously, the Packers are one. You know what? Here's another one that's kind of interesting. Think about the Detroit Lions. All of a sudden, they lose both their coordinators, right? And people said, that ain't a big deal. You know what? That is a big deal. Especially offensively right now, when you look at them. They're not in sync with the run game and the pass game. They're just not in sync right now. They got to find their way again, right? That is a scary situation, right? It's kind of like, And then how about this one? And I hope they come to fruition because I'm a West Coast guy when they used to be on the West Coast. Pete Carroll goes to the Raiders, and now all of a sudden, Geno Smith is like, Geno's been, he's kind of been one of those guys that's kind of, okay, I take my helmet, I go play for them. He's a little bit of a mercenary, I'm sending Geno Smith over here. Yeah. And all of a sudden, the Raiders is like, ooh, this is interesting, right? It's just, and you know what? I always tell people, there's a couple teams that have to be good to make the NFL, exciting. It's these guys, the guys with the patch on their eyes. People don't realize, back in the 70s, oh boy, the Raiders, when the Raiders came to town, you hid your children. You took cover. They'd come in and it was the Raiders coming to town, man. And you go, oh boy, here come the big bad Raiders, right? And it's just, they've always been one of them fun teams, and I live on the West Coast. So, I kind of grew up, I went to Cal, and, the Raiders are right next door. They played in the old Coliseum, and you go in there, man, and it was like, oh, and the black hole, the whole deal. It's like, Raiders, man, It's good that the Raiders are good.
Yes. Right? It's great that the Raiders are good. Yes, I say it all the time. No offense to Atlanta, but I don't give a shit if Atlanta's any good. I don't care if Charlotte's any good, Carolina. If the Raiders are good, I grew up Ed Podolak against Mark Van Egan, Otis Sistrunk in the head. You know what I mean? The Stork. Yes. Yes. You know what?
Here's what's fitting about the Raiders. So Al's moved them all over the West Coast. Every time I turn around, Al's moving somewhere, right? And so I can remember when Al was living, Al was great because Al, knew I went to Cal, ended up going to Philly. And I remember when we played the Raiders, first time we played them, I was in Philly. And Al would always come out, he'd have his little paper in his hand, like this. And he'd have numbers of the opposing players that he liked. And he would walk in the pregame warm-up, and he'd kind of he'd be walking on the field, and he'd go over by when you're doing your pregame warm-up, and he'd come over there when I was in Philly, he'd say, hey, 46, I'm going to make you a Raider. And I started laughing. I said, oh, boy. And, Al Davis. But here's the funny part. So you watch the Raiders. They moved everywhere on the West Coast. And then it's only fitting the Raiders go to Vegas. I'm going, you can't have a better team to go to Vegas than the Raiders.
That's right.
It just makes sense, right? The Raiders, where are they at? They're in Vegas. Oh, man. I love it.
I agree. I never thought they fit L.A. I always thought they fit Oakland, and I don't know nothing. Correct. I'm not a West Coast guy, but going to Vegas, that was like hand in glove, man. That was like, let's just put it on and let's go. Really. Hey, I got to run, my friend. Thank you so much for coming on. That was fun.
Anytime, brother. Be well.
There he goes, the great Herm Edwards. You can give him a follow and pay attention to the game plan, man. He's so right. God, is he right about that. I grew up watching on Thursday. It was always the late game, Kansas City and the Raiders. And you're like, wow, look at this crew. Oh, man. There was a guy from Gary on the Gerald Irons. Gerald Irons was from our hometown. Hey, we got to run. We went over. Too much fun. We'll see you tomorrow.